Quantum effect has many people questioning what the definition of reality is. It's a grand question on scale with the reason for our existence, the purpose and development of life on this planet, and the direction of our futures. It can be incredibly hard to discuss the complex notion of reality in waking hours, but we all have experienced a sort of alternative reality in our sleep, perhaps millions of them. Be these realities the process of our brain trying to sort information, rapid electrical firings, an out-of-body experience, a jumping of dimensions, or the evaporation of boundaries of time and space, there is no question that our dreams and nightmares have influence in our waking lives. We need sleep, and we need dreams. Not being able to access an REM state does affect your overall health. So, as asked by thousands of much more experienced people before me, what is a dream, and what do they really mean? And by me more specifically, are quantum shift observers experiencing commonalities in their dreams? In this video, we will specifically be looking at the reoccurring dreams of the quantum affected. The following dreams have been submitted by observers. They have not been edited, and they haven't been read up until now during the current recording of this video, as a sort of pseudo experiment to see if there are any similarities between observers. They have been arranged at random. As usual, intelligent discussion is encouraged, but any belligerence to any of the subscribers who submitted stories will result in your comment being removed. So let's get on with this little pseudo experiment in alternate realities and see if any of us can relate. I'll start with my own, so I won't read ahead. I have had precognitive dreams my entire life. The first I remember clearly was in second grade when I met a girl in my dream I didn't know and we became friends. 2 days later, my grandma took me to the park and I met that same girl from my dream and we became friends. This sort of thing has been a norm for me my entire life. In 2008, my mom passed away from an 11-year fight with cancer. She was told over and over that she had months left to live but consistently wowed the doctors. Directly following her death, my sister and I had the same dream, that she came to us and we were sitting outside a tropical hut having drinks. I think it was in Hawaii. Following that, I began to have dreams every night where she would come to me, but they were really upsetting. I had the dream literally hundreds of times. In the dream, she would be back. I would tell her she shouldn't be here, that it wasn't natural and she wasn't supposed to come back. She would see my stepdad with his new wife and would turn on me and become vicious, berating me and telling me that it didn't matter to her if I was dead. This dream continued, and I even tried EMDR therapy to try to stop the nightmares as I was suffering from sleep deprivation. I came to understand that this wasn't a possibility and it was purely a dream. In 2012, she came to me in a dream that was quite different. She was kind and gentle, and she told me that the symbol on the dollar, the saying that's there, was actually the meaning of life, and that as many people, we all come together as one. The prior dreams returned right after that and continued until 2015. This is still often an aspect of my current dreams as well. In 2015, I began to have a new reoccurring dream. I am still having it to this day. There are ships in the sky, and floods, earthquakes, and fire surrounding me. They're caused by some sort of magnetic technology from the ships above. The ships are holographic in nature. The emergency broadcast system is playing alerts, telling everybody to stay inside as it's the best means of survival, but really because they do not have anything else they can say to us. Entities are coming from the ships, and they're trying to enter homes to extinguish any life inside. I'm trying to get my family together in the house, but I always have trouble finding my daughter. We all hold hands, and there's what I can only refer to as a nuclear blast. We hear strange quiet and then feel intense heat, and a huge white light hits us, and then I wake up. I used to believe that the things I was dreaming about were impossible. However, upon experiencing the quantum shift and the return of people whose funerals I watched previously, like Billy Graham for example in the 90s, I realized to my horror that the dream about my mother could in fact play out in the world as I see it now, and that terrifies me. I truly believe that when people pass, it teaches us things and helps us move forward. Without experiencing my mom's death the way that I did, I would not be the person I am today, and I like the lessons that have come from my experiences. I think we often believe that if our loved ones were to come back, we would be ecstatic, but the truth is, the world moves on and becomes a different one, where that loved one might not fit anymore. People remarry after a spouse dies, but a spouse never has to experience that. We move forward because we are living, and we each have our time in this world. I do not know what these dreams mean, but they affect me a great deal. Jynx. One of the best dreams I ever had was this. In the dream, staring at the dark sky, as I look up at the stars, I see different planets with different colors: blue, red, green, purple, orange, yellow. After only looking at the sky for a while, it looked like somebody took down the stars and sky like a blanket. And that's when I started running for my life and seeing all the people I cared about running with me. After that, I woke up. I find it very difficult writing these days, particularly about more intuitive, complex matters. The fingers are way too slow and my mind becomes impatient and agitated, but I will do my best. Much of the information I have received in the past few years has been through inexplicable rapid images, code, formulas, like being uploaded, I suppose. I don't understand, but I'm holding on to the information. 2013, early 2014, I'll see if I can find anything in writing, I was shown a galactic interdimensional war, including here and in Earth. There are multiple groups of entities involved, including AIs and transhumans, many transhuman soldiers. There's a powerful AI, formed from the merging of conscious beings that once inhabited biological bodies, and a planet something like Earth. They've been traveling a long time, and they have arrived or will be arriving soon. Battlegrounds of vacant futuristic cities have sunless skies, deep blue and violets, large bodies of water that are smooth like glass. They have vertical bridges, dome structures, spiral inverted pyramids into the earth. I have reoccurring dreams about these and 2 spirit guides relating to them, a group of selected healers. There's so much. I feel like I just dropped 2 grains of sand. A few months ago, I had a dream that forced me off the fence and into the yard of vegetarianism. I love animals and would never be able to harm anything personally. I don't even kill cockroaches. I knew I was only able to do it because I was so far removed from killing part of the process that I could still do it. But for whatever reason, I couldn't stop eating meat. It wasn't in alignment with my personal ethics, but my body would just go so primal, and this inner struggle was going on for years: carnivore, vegan, omnivore, vegetarian. I just accepted the cycle as a seasonal thing, but then I had a dream. It was one of those dreams that starts out like you're a non-playing character, but then suddenly you become lucid and you realize what you're doing. Well, I was eating a cat in the dream, and it was graphic. This completely horrified me when I became lucid, looking at the mess in my hands. I shouted something like, "I would never eat a cat, I love cats!" And this booming, authoritative, disappointed-sounding voice, super powerful, said, "It's no different than any other animal. Please understand that I am a bona fide crazy cat lady. Cats are my favorite creatures. I had a cat for 17 years that I loved as if she was my child and that I'd birthed from my own womb. This was an extremely upsetting dream. It took me weeks to recover. My mouth still waters when I walk by a barbecue, but that dream effed me up enough to keep me vegetarian for life." B. I had a dream twice in a row. After I had 2 panic attacks, I woke up confused. The 2 dreams, massive fires and earthquakes. The TV only shows emergency broadcasts. Everybody is dead or dying, and in the second dream, a man dressed in white and red tells me things. It really freaked me out. He doesn't really speak much with his mouth. It's more like he speaks directly into my head, and I can feel it in my chest. He's talking about being ready. Do you think it's a sign? Am I going to die or just a dream? Maybe I'm just going crazy. A. Throughout my life, I find myself waking up from a dream, not so much that it's a repeated dream, but a repeated reality, as if I'm tapping in or out of another life. This other self exists in a different predicament than my own. Although the area is familiar to me, it's unrecognizable to me in my wakened state. I question everything about this reality, including the time in which it is. I am certain that I will find myself waking up from another experience in this other existence. I'm open to entertain the possibility that this particular dream self I find myself in is actually as real as the life that I'm in. J. I had a terrible lucid dream or nightmare a couple of weeks ago. I was in the night of a very big snowstorm. The wind was blowing very hard. I was with my son and one of my very good friends and another man that I did not know, but he was friendly. We were inside of my house sleeping. In my dream, I was very worried about the storm. Suddenly, a very intense bright light appeared in front of my house. It was a sort of spaceship. Men came out of it, about 10 of them. They were kind of like alien police. My son was terrified. He was crying and wailing. They scanned us with a laser, and I remember telling them that our hearts were pure. They spared us. I don't know what they wanted, but they left us with our lives, I think. What I noticed is that my son was much younger. I think that this event happened to us about 8 or 9 years ago. For a reason that I ignore, it came back to me in a lucid dream a few weeks ago. Now, I remember that even. If it was not for you, I would never say anything like this for fear that they would judge me or think I was crazy. Maybe I am. I tried to say some very light things to one of my friends, and he did not want to listen to me. Please don't mention my name, but thank you for being out there. Love, Anonymous. Here's my reoccurring dream. I have the same dream almost every night. I float through a spiral tube, headed towards a black hole, and at the other end the tube slowly spins clockwise. I can make it slow down or speed up as I fly. It's a beautiful violet and green color, and I can see wispy materials that must be a dress or something I'm wearing, blowing in the wind as I'm flying. That's the only part I remember, almost as an OBE. At times I fall into sleep paralysis at this point. I feel I'm doing some sort of important work whenever I go to sleep, and when I wake up, I'm always on the verge of remembering something, but I never do. That brief moment when your consciousness is in between dream states and you feel you can remember the dreams, and then I open my eyes and it's gone. R. In reading through these dreams, I have come to a loose conclusion that quantum shift experiencers are sharing dreams of large-scale events happening in our world. Many of us seem to be having nightmares of an apocalyptic nature, but are often reassured by somebody in the dream that as long as we're together and ready, we make it through the experience. These are only my personal observations. Each viewer will find their own meaning or lack thereof of this compilation of dreams. What's important is that we take our time to look at things like this, to discuss and observe to see if commonalities exist, and if they do, what that might mean overall. Whether awake or asleep, our realities are shaped by us. So consider what your dreams might be trying to say to you. Give them the gift of thought. Share with each other and look at every angle, because there are so many. Remember that we're never done learning, and we're never truly alone.